ordinance that we're facing today was an ordinance that was submitted by the previous government. And I have had the opportunity to look at it, and there are some changes that I would like to make to it. And in that connection, I'd like to ask your indulgence and your agreement to put this on hold for a while. Of course, the formal steps will have to be taken to have it withdrawn, but to put it on hold so that we could put together a method that I think would answer better to the needs of the population. This ordinance has been presented in order to assist in raising more revenue in connection with the budgetary problems we have, and that is always welcome. But I think that we have to do it taking the social impact into consideration, and that's what I'd like to go and work on, and to present a new draft for approval by Parliament. Thank you, Madam President.
Of Parliament have a reaction to that proposal. I see several members have asked for the floor. MP Cornelis de Wever, and then so far MP France Richardson. MP Cornelis de Wever, you have the floor.
Thank you very much. Welcome, Minister Gibson, Ms. Dykoff, and Ms. James. Listening to the press conferences that were held, you clearly indicated that you were in favor at the time a couple of weeks ago, and now yesterday you indicated that you're not, and that a luxury tax was going to be looked at when it comes to this legislation. What was the reason for the change? Was it just the social aspect of it, or was there more to it? Because in 2013, Minister Tuitt did not collect any kind of taxes, and that was a loss of 8.8 million and change. So we still have to recoup that. This one is projected at 1.6 million per year, and with that projected income for 2016 as proposed by this legislation, how do you intend to recoup that projected income? Are you going to just cut some more? Because you did indicate that we are in a financial crisis. I think that's important to note as well. And if so, how are we going to get out of it? And are there more measures that you would like to inform Parliament about as far as either income producing or cost cutting measures to be taken? The package, we would like to know what that is as well. Thank you. Those are my questions and statements.
That being part of a coalition government, that you was not informed of such measures to be taken. But nevertheless, it shows the reason why some people left the ship, jumped the ship, and abandoned ship because of such measures and behavior that was coming like this. So, Minister, this government that you are supported by, we will make sure inform the public and to give them the information beforehand. I do believe that when government is planning to increase in taxes, one should at least be given a year in advance notice that such measures will be implemented, that the people of St. Martin can at least prepare themselves in a year in advance, knowing that certain measures like these will be taken. I could understand the reason why you're requesting Parliament to withdraw such a measure like this at this present time, but I do believe that we need to come with a proper structure and how we implement and levy car tax on this island. It is way too long, Madam Chair, through you, that we continue to use the easiest method to tax or to generate income in an easier manner than we fix and follow the way things are done in other bigger countries. And especially, Madam Chair, through you, that I believe before this ever comes back, let's start to look at how we can start making those with luxury vehicle pay more on a scale of give or take 20,000 below, 30,000 to 20,000, 50,000 to 30,000, and above you pay more. When we take a look at our roads today, we are seeing the most luxurious cars is being driven on the island. It shows that somehow people can afford to buy these most expensive, beautiful cars, but yet the small man, the small woman, still has to pay the same car tax to drive on the road.
Bob, I can understand why you're parking so carefully. Of course, when you can get 80% discount on your Be Sure car insurance. But that's overdoing it, Bob.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah! Hey, Bob, you're on family vacation. Oh, but your daughter's got the measles. But don't worry about it. With your Be Sure travel insurance, children under 12 are covered for free.
Are you be sure? Be sure.
Yeah, for free.
GEBE has been faithfully serving the communities of St. Martin, powering your home and our economy. Come rain or shine, our qualified team of professionals are working hard 24 hours a day to provide you and your family with safe, reliable electricity and water. We use the latest technologies and test our products daily to maintain the highest international standards. Our friendly staff is always there to assist you, whether in person, over the phone, or online. We are committed to constantly improving our products and services, making them more efficient, effective, and environmentally friendly to serve you better today and our next generation of clients tomorrow. GEBE, powering a brighter future.
Our friend Megawati is here with tips to save you energy. 1. Turn your airco temperature up. 2. Use a ceiling fan instead. 3. Buy energy-saving products. Save some green with NVGEBE.
Need a loan that's quick and easy. Island Finance. Up to 50,000 guineas real easy. Island Finance. For education, a renovation. That's no problem. Yes, it's true. That's not all. They're quick and friendly too. Island Finance. Appliances, vacations, even fix your car. You can depend on Island Finance.
That bucket has superpowers. Powers? It makes people suddenly appear. Really?
You appeared.
It makes people suddenly appear.
At the right time.
Festive feast from KFC. The taste that brings everyone together. So good.
I'm feeling funny, man. I feel like I'm getting a pain in my chest.
I got this.
You sure?
Yes. It's 30 breaths and 2 compression. Give her here.
Oh, Monique, look, she waking up.
No, Fernand. It is not 30 breaths and 2 compressions. It is 30 compressions and 2 breaths. CPR can be done in 3 simple steps. Step 1, check and call. Step 2, press down or pump. Step 3, blow.
I got it now. It's 30 compression and 2 breaths.
Yes.
Right. CAB.
MP Franz Richardson alluded to a number of changes that are possible, feasible, and maybe constructively could add to this particular law as it will be changed, being more effective. But I wouldn't want to add another element to this, given that reference was made to weight, reference was made to looking at, the social structure, certain people not being able to afford this raise across the board, and others having paid a whole lot for certain cars above, the norm, etc. Those who have then should be taxed more. But I think we should also look at those who more frequently use our roads, and not only more frequently, but also who place a heavier burden on the road structure by weight and frequency. In other words, heavy equipment. They do more damage to the road structure than any car can do. And especially when it rains, and the undergirdment of the road structure is not good, heavy equipment can do far more damage than any amount of, driving on it by lighter vehicles, etc. And the big companies that operate trailers, heavy equipment, are far more able to pay a yearly, fee of even if it's 1,000, 2,000 guilders. I mean, when compared to someone that just uses a vehicle, a light vehicle, to go from point A to point B. So I think that should be considered, and I don't think that, the people who operate these heavy equipment, or the entities or companies, would be, averse to at least assisting, number one, to get better road quality to drive on. It helps them also. We have seen what has happened to the extension of the Swaliga Boulevard, and they just had to repair it. And that's mostly, and not that road is a very old road. The fact is that the type of equipment that usually traverse there on their way to the landfill, or the dump, if you want to call it that, are mostly heavy equipment. And so we need to, when you said we're going to look at this, the social aspect of this, then I think we need to consider the haves and the have-nots, and the haves that use the road to produce a whole lot more, I think should pay more. And so I just would like you to add that consideration as you go along. You may have much more brilliant ideas as you look at it, but if we can add that aspect to it, and it might help a whole lot with us generating more funds where it does not hurt.
Madam Chair Lady, the minister indicated that he's asking to basically retract so he can review. In your review, the end goal still is going to increase. I would like answer yes or no. So whether it's happening now or it's happening later, there's going to be an increase. I'm told that this came about, of course, because of revenue generating measures that are needed. But it is good to point out that this has never been done since 2000. So we've lost 15 years without ever increasing this ordinance, the road tax. So 15 years without revenue, and I'm very much curious to know what the minister will implement, and at the end of the day, will it be increased, whether it's a year from now, 2 years from now? Let the people know whether there's going to be an increase or not. Madam Chair Lady, the minister indicated that he's going to review or look at the social aspect of it. Will he be sending it to the Social Economic Council to find out the impact that it will have in the community on the island? I think that is something that is needed, so we can also understand what their standpoint is on this specific legislation. I heard Dr. Lloyd Richardson, MP Dr. Lloyd Richardson, indicate about road quality. I might not be favored too much for saying this, but I will say it anyhow. One way or the other, an increase is going to come. Let's be real. Let's tell the people whether we're poor, we're rich, we're middle class, it's going to come. I don't think the people of St. Martin would mind if we would have better road quality. Not what, when they put in the bid, and the end product is not the same thing what they said. So whether it has to be 2-inch and they only put 1-inch concrete on the road or asphalt or whatever the mixture, we want better quality roads. So yes, we will see, okay, the increase, whether it's now or later, but we want better road quality. There's no one to check it. And that's the truth. So I am told, and knowing you from before, you're a very strict person. Very strict businessman. So I expect for it to be thorough.
So what's your idea of holiday happiness? Watching the kids open presents, cooking in our new kitchen, the look on his face. Add to your holiday happiness with a loan from Scotiabank, and you could win a trip for 2 to Miami and other great prizes. Visit your Scotiabank branch today and talk to a representative about getting your loan. Contest ends January 15th. Conditions apply. Scotiabank. Discover what's possible.
One,
2,
3,
4. This is how common it is to develop a mental illness. 1 out of every 4.
4,
4.
4. But there is hope. Today, most mental illnesses can be managed and treated. Visit your general doctor if you feel concerned about your thoughts and behaviors or have some difficulty dealing with some of life's issues.
If you have been diagnosed and are suffering from a mental illness, keep in mind these 4 points to help you manage your mental health.
1. Get regular checkups with your general doctor.
2. Stay on your treatment plan to prevent relapses.
3. Find a strong support group in your family and friends.
And 4. Never be afraid to ask for help and look out for the warning signs of your illness.
Remember, you are not alone. We are as close as one.
2.
3.
4.
Learn about mental health illness by going to the Mental Health Foundation's website at www.mhf-sxm.com.
Madam Chair, I'm amazed at things that I see in the past, and then after a while, some years pass, and then you see it come to fruition or to reality. In the year 2000, I went to Holland for the first time. My second son went there for his studies, and I went there in 2000. And while I was there, I was observing, and I realized that there were many small cars on the road, and I said, "Why is this?" And then he explained me the issue of the taxes, how it functions, and so on. I said, "Oh, okay." And mind you, my mind was never on politics because I was working as a normal civil servant, no kind of political aspirations, absolutely. But then a thought came to me. I said, "Wait a minute, in St. Martin, why don't we try to see if we can implement the same procedures?" Of course, basically, and my colleagues said it before, if I want to drive an Audi, which means I can afford it, then why should somebody driving a Toyota, to name one, I'm not advertising for Toyota, why should that person pay the same amount as I am paying for the Audi? I said, that doesn't make sense. And also the fact of the issue of many cars in St. Martin and many large buses, my idea back then was, Why don't we find a way of getting rid of the large buses? First and foremost, allowing those who already purchased their buses, because there are those who still at the time still owe the banks. So give them time to pay off the banks and then say, look, as a government, we set a criteria. These are the sizes that can run on St. Martin little roads. Because if you have traveled to different countries, you realize that even like Colombia, for instance, most of the cars, there are little small little taxis, the little yellow ones that are running there. That is the limit that is allowed. Now I'm saying on St. Martin we are complaining about traffic and there's no space to drive, but we have the largest buses that can be run on St. Martin on the island. So I'm saying why not look into the issue of, as a government, and I'm sure not going to be something liked by some of those that have the large vehicles, but we have to look for a solution as to the issue of traffic, because I understood that 1,600 vehicles are ordered every year or brought into St. Martin. I don't know if that is true. That's what I heard. What I'm saying is look at the sizes and find a way of saying, wait a minute, let us start putting laws in place to say you can only have vehicle this size, the house, or to hold so many passengers.
First of all, Minister, I would like to tell you, don't fall in this trap and don't own this tax. You come here and you present a bill that would put the burden on the people. The ones that's supposed to approve that bill are the members of parliament. When a tax is going to hit the people, the politicians are the ones that carry the responsibility of that exercise. I have read the local newspapers and I was very surprised when I read in the paper motor vehicle tax will be increased. Knowing it has to come to Parliament, up front I said, not approved by me. Then lately I also read in the newspaper that I have other colleagues who do not agree with this measure. And then I would like to ask you, where did it come from? And that's an honest question, Madam Chair Lady, from you to the Minister. Where did this tax come from? And it is more than necessary to explain not only to the members of Parliament, Madam Chair, but also to the people of St. Martin when this bill started to move. I take note of comments made by colleagues of mine, and they sort of putting the responsibility of this tax on the civil servants. Well, Madam Chair Lady, that's wrong. The civil servants has to carry out their job, which is indicated to them by their upline. There is not a civil servant that can get up and say, this is our tax, we work on it, so members of Parliament, Lord, we work so hard, don't turn it down. That's not the way it works. There was a coalition in place, and this tax originated during that time. And I say that based on information that it had to go to the various instances before it reached Parliament. So my first question is, can the Minister, Madam Chair, please explain how did this draft reach Parliament? On which date did it go to the Advisory Council? I understood it did not go to the Social Economic Council, Advisory Council. I would like to know, did it have to go there? Why was it, why was this organization left out? Madam Chair, I would like the Minister to understand. He is supported by a coalition. And if a tax or whatever idea that is going to burden the people, or even if it's good, it has to go through a coalition. It cannot reach to Parliament and just get support because the minister sent it to Parliament. And we know it doesn't work like that. For it to reach here, some coalition, some set of politicians had to approve it. Madam Chair, I also understood from comments from some of my colleagues that Minister Tuitt's name as Minister of Finance, a former Minister of Finance, did not raise any money, and the budget is really lacking of money in order to be balanced. I want to bring to the memory of those who has forgotten that Minister Tuitt spoke so much about the money that is owed to the people of St. Martin by the casinos. Minister Tuitt also spoke about money owed to the people of St. Martin by the number game instances. Minister of Tuitt, the former Minister of Finance, also was working on what we call the sin tax. When you add this up and you add to it correct or incorrect newspaper information that says there was an issue in the harbor between the harbor and Zebek, and 10 million appear to solve that problem.